According to a recent study, the average rush hour driver wasted 42 hours of their life in traffic just last year. While that traffic congestion is most associated with big cities, red lights can be just as annoying wherever you are. In a special report called Ready, Set, Wait, News 18 is examining traffic lights and timing. Last night in Part 1, we showed you how sensors work and some of the tools traffic engineers have to determine how effective their timing is. Tonight, we're going to share some information that could help you waste less time waiting for the green. Many traffic lights in Lafayette and West Lafayette, and even those on state highways, have a similar setup. They're programmed for a minimum time on green. Cars driving over sensors on green can extend the length of the green light up to the programmed maximum. Meanwhile, sensors detecting cars on the cross streets eventually trigger a red light. About 2/3 of Lafayette's lights are timed to another light, meaning if there's not heavy traffic or you don't drive too fast, you should be able to hit a string of green.
If you speed, you're going to get a red light.
And some places, like Creasy Lane, are actually set in sequence a little under the speed limit to take the heavier traffic into account. The goal is to move a platoon of cars together through a corridor, giving more green time to busier roads. At major intersections like Creasy and South, both roads get equal time.
East-west gets 50% of the time. North-south gets 50% of the time.
But at some places, the sensors can make their own slight adjustments. For example, if traffic is backing up on Creasy and sensors are not picking up any traffic on McCarty, the light may turn red a little early and will give Creasy a little longer green so that it stays in sequence with the rest of the corridor. But sequence for whom? A road properly timed for traffic going in one direction doesn't mean it's time for traffic going the opposite way.
Occasionally you get lucky and you can, but it's all about spacing and speed. That's what's going to determine it, whether or not you can get both directions of travel.
In Lafayette,
1:45 is the magic time.
That's because in the morning and until 1:45 p.m., the timing is set for northbound drivers on Creasy and Sagamore and westbound drivers on South. At 2 in the afternoon, it's the exact opposite. Southbound traffic for Creasy and Sagamore and eastbound on South gets priority. The switch is phased in and takes 15 minutes to complete. Veterans Memorial Parkway favors eastbound traffic until 10 a.m. when it then becomes westbound priority. Main Street always favors eastbound. Koning says it's all based on numbers and volume of traffic. In West Lafayette, both Salisbury and Northwestern favor southbound traffic during the morning rush hour and northbound during the afternoon rush. In between, timing is based on detection from the sensors.
Crawfordsville is what you call the typical size.
INDOT makes similar timing decisions, sometimes adjusting lights for just a 15 or 30-minute interval to reflect a factory shift change or even school dismissal time. Traffic engineers look to eliminate cycle failure, where a driver has to sit through more than one red light. To do that, they can shorten or lengthen the green light, or even have the green turn arrow go on at the beginning or end of the cycle. But it takes just one inattentive driver to ruin the best laid plans. At some intersections, sensors are also installed 300 to 500 feet back that can extend a green light for traffic, assuming the maximum hasn't been reached, meaning it's wise to stay close to another platoon of cars. Every signal statewide is monitored, at the very least, every 4 years.
If we're hitting the 60 to 70% numbers, we're generally doing well, as long as we're also managing the delays on the cross street.
Those delays have created a challenge for Ed Cox at US 231 and River Road.
You should make most of them, but River Road is going to be a little bit random, with the exception of maybe the morning evening peak. I think I still got it tight in there, but in the off peaks it's running free.
One last tip is for motorcycles. Remember, the sensors are triggered by metal, not by weight. So you want the most metal you can to straddle this circle as opposed to being in the middle of it. It's likely to only get more complex in the future. With GPS, smartphones, and even smart cars, there's no telling what may be developed so that drivers can do more driving and less waiting.
They have algorithms that will say, all right, we know what's coming. It lets everything know downstream, and it just assigns a chunk of time, and it's not based on a predetermined cycle length.
One of the biggest limiting factors is the cost. Fred Koning says Lafayette's system was about $1 million, with the software being about $250,000 alone. Updating a single intersection can cost about $35,000. That's why West Lafayette is updating its intersections now, but waiting to buy the actual software technology until after the State Street project is complete.